Hi VC. My name is Cindy, and the name of my channel is Mama Bear Vinyl. And this is my introduction to the VC. It's not my first video. I do have two other videos, but I haven't done an introduction yet, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. Um, and so this is my introduction. I'm going to try to keep it short, but just kind of give you an idea of who I am, what kind of music I'm listening to, what kind of records are in my collection. I have a relatively small collection compared to many of you. Um, I have, I would say, 600 to 700 albums, but that includes 7 inches too. I have like a hundred or 100 plus 45s from the 80s. Um, Back in the day. So my collection is relatively small. To my husband, that number seems crazy. He was like, how can you have that many albums? So I consider myself a vinyl enthusiast, not necessarily a collector, because I don't have to have necessarily a certain issue of an album. It doesn't have to be OG or a special pressing. Um, when I buy used records, I'm okay with VG plus. I look at the, condition of the album and if the record's playable. I don't have like a high dollar quality stereo system. So I really consider myself more an enthusiast. That could change at any day, at any point, but right now I'm I'm just more of an enthusiast. I'm not an aficionado. I don't know all the details about all the albums that I own, you know, oh, it came out in this pressing or that pressing and the backstory behind it. I know some stuff, but it's kind of limited. That's one thing I love about the VC, though. I can tune in to some of the great channels out there and learn more information about albums or see new albums that I forgot about. Like, oh, I totally forgot about that band. I'm going to have to check them out again. And just the personal stories that you tell with the albums that you share, just really heartfelt. Um, Shout out to B Side Records, Beth. I love her channel, and a reason for that is just the heartfelt messages, the stories that she shares with the albums. Plus, she is so funny, and her editing skills are phenomenal. And I want to take a class with her to figure out how to do all that fancy editing. I definitely have a girl crush on Beth. She is just amazing. But back to me a little bit. um, I am a total introvert, and so making a YouTube video is really out of my comfort zone. It's something that is totally uncharacteristic of me. In fact, when I told my husband that I made a YouTube video and posted it on YouTube, his eyes got this big and he was like, "You've got to be kidding." He said, "That's something that doesn't sound at all like you." Um, but when it comes to vinyl records, that introverted personality that I have kind of changes. It turns me into a vinylvert. I'm kind of extroverted when it comes to vinyl and talking about vinyl and just sharing with other people about vinyl records. And so, vinylvert. I am hoping to connect with some other vinylverts through the VC. I love this medium to share and talk about music. And so my purpose to want to make a video and interact with the other cool VC kids is because I really love music and I um, love to share that experience with other people. And so that's my main motivation, is just to make some connections that way. And so I'm going to go ahead and share some records because I don't want to go too long and it already seems like I'm rambling. So I'm just going to show a few records from my collection, just a few. So the first two records I'm going to show are kind of where my love for vinyl records started. These two bands are big in the VC. Both of them have millions and millions of listeners and lovers, and I just really like both of these bands. And the first one would be the Beach Boys, and this album is Smiley Smile, and this album is actually from my parents' record collection. So the album right here, I played it so many times on my little turntable in my room, and I just love it. I love everything about it. Love the beautiful illustration on the front. This was released on the Brothers Records, their own personal label, and really great songs on here. Good Vibrations, Heroes and Villains, but some other quirky kind of fun songs like Vegetables, which as a little girl was one of my favorites. I would go around humming it through the house. Just really, really a great album. Every time I listen to it, it gives me the warm fuzzies, and just a really great album. The second band, my parents weren't fans of them. They had a few like 45s in their record collection, and that's kind of where I got introduced to them. And that would be the Beatles. And so I know I'm not alone in my love of the Beatles. I just really like them. This is a great album. Please Please Me. It's a Japanese import. I probably paid too much for it at the time, but I really saw it and it's like, oh, I gotta have that. And I didn't have this album in my collection, so it was like, if I'm gonna get one, I might as well get this copy. So not my favorite Beatles album, but anything by them I really enjoy. So the next two albums I'm going to feature are albums from my parents' actual record collection that I have permanently borrowed, and they are never going to get them back, but they're okay with that. So I have a love of 60s surf instrumental and also 60s girl groups. Probably neither one of those are the name of the specific genre, but that's what I know them as. And so the first album is The Supremes A Go-Go, and this is such an awesome album, such an awesome album. I love the Supremes, Diana Ross, Nancy Wilson, you know, the other name escapes me, but just such a great, great group. I know the other day I saw a video by Tavis, and I think it's Vinyl Talk with Tavis is the name of his channel. Check him out. He has a great channel, and he was talking about this album. Just really, really great. You Can't Hurry Love. Love is Like an Itching in My Heart. There's a cover of Hang On Sloopy and Money, and These Boots Are Made for Walkin'. And so a really great album. Anytime I go crate digging or go to the used record store, I'm always looking for the Supremes or other 60s girl groups. I really don't come across them very often, especially here in Maine. I don't know what's going on in Maine. But when I do see them, if they're in good condition, I do pick them up. And the other thing I'm always looking for in the bins is 60s surf instrumental. And this album right here, The Ventures Surfing, was one of my dad's albums. And he was a really big fan of the Ventures, but also just that style of playing guitar. And the verb, the vibrato, oh my goodness, it just makes me so excited. 60s surf music is so great. This one is a great album. My album that I have here, not the greatest condition, still plays though, but it does have this snap, crackle, pops. Probably due to my misuse of playing it when I was younger. So, three more albums that I want to show are albums that I have in my collection because of my kids. And my vinyl channel name is Mama Bear Vinyl because I'm a mama bear. And I have three beautiful, amazing children who are not children anymore. They're all adults. But I still gravitate towards music that they enjoyed in high school or they've introduced me to. All my kids were really great about making mixtapes and sending them to me or giving them to me. And so the first album I'm going to show is my oldest daughter, is The Killers' Hot Fuss. This is such an amazing album. Of course, it has Mr. Brightside on it and some other great hits. And I just remember my daughter playing this CD over and over and over again. And really great album. She loved this band. Another big band that she loved was All American Rejects. And I'm going to share out here another great channel in the VC, Melinda Murphy. If you haven't checked out her channel, check out her channel. She showed an All American Rejects album that she had picked up for $12. Only $12. I remember when they re-released it, and I think it was for Record Store Day, and that's what I wanted. I wanted that album, and I think we were 10th in line, and the guy that was first in line got the one copy that they did have. And so that's kind of my grail. That's a grail item. I'd love to pick up that album at some time. And Melinda has a copy, so kudos to her. And she has a great channel too. Just she's like a rocker chick. She is just on point with a great curated collection of rock albums. So definitely check out her channel. The second album I'm going to feature of my kids' inspired music is my middle daughter. And my middle daughter is the biggest Death Cab for Cutie fan on the planet. She just adores Ben Gibbard and his writing, singing talents. And this album is an amazing album. She actually bought this album for me a few years ago as a Christmas or Mother's Day present. And I really love this album, Plans. It has Soul Meets Body, I Will Follow You Into the Dark, Crooked Teeth. And so those were the hits off the album, but really a great album. The next album I'm going to show is an album inspired by my son. And when he was in high school, this was one of his favorite bands. And I have a big regret with this band. I think he was maybe a sophomore in high school, and this band was his favorite. That was his favorite band. He was playing their CDs, downloading music for them. He just really loved them. And they were in concert about an hour away from where we lived. And the tickets were reasonable. They weren't unreasonable. And it was this band and two other bands, and all kind of in the same type of genre of music. And he was really into them. And he wanted me to take him to the concert because, he didn't drive. He didn't have any friends that were going. And I was like, nah, I'm just really not in that music. I don't want to go. And that is such a big regret for me. I wish I would have just sucked it up and went to the concert with him And I would have loved it. I would have loved that experience with him because I've gone to concerts with him since then and always had a great time. And now I've developed a love for this band. I think they're really great. And I wish I wouldn't have been so prejudiced against his musical taste at the time. And I would have went to that concert with him. So all you VCers out there that are parents and have young ones or teenagers and they want to go to that concert that maybe you don't really like the band and you're like, just do it. Suck it up and go with your child to that concert. It is so worth it. You will regret it later. Take it from Mama Bear Vinyl here. You'll regret it later if you don't. So enough of me rambling. The band I'm talking about is Rise Against, and this album, The Sufferer and The Witness. This is such a great album. So at first I had trouble getting over kind of like the screaming. I thought they were screaming. They're not screaming. They're just really passionate about what they are singing about. And this is such a high energy, high octane album. I just love it. They're really a great band. And if you take the time to just listen to the lyrics, listen to what they're singing about, it's just really worth the investment in time. So Rise Against, this is in my collection because of my son. And let me see here. So I do have a great love for modern music too. I'm kind of like classic 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s now. I kind of have a diverse collection, so I have a little bit from each decade, different genres. I don't feel like I'm kind of set in any way. I do gravitate more towards rock type music, whether it be alternative or pop, new wave, dark wave, indie rock. So I kind of gravitate towards that type of genre, but I dabble in jazz and soul, blues, country, and soundtracks. I really love soundtracks. And a recent pickup that was at the used record store, I found this album right here, Vision Quest. And this movie was from the 80s. I think like, I don't know, 85 or something. And I actually never saw this movie. Like, I've bought the soundtrack now and I've played it 3 times in the last week because the albums on here are just the songs on here are just kicking. They're like totally my teen years. And there's Journey, Only the Young, John Waite, Change, Style Council, 2 Madonna songs, Foreigner, Sammy Hagar, Red Rider, Lunatic Fringe is on here. Awesome movie. This is not a sci-fi movie, Vision Quest. I was like, I've not seen the movie even though it was from the 80s, and I was thinking, maybe it's a science fiction movie and it has Matthew Muldoon here. And I was like, I don't remember this. And actually, it's it's about a wrestler. He's a wrestler in high school, and he has this vision and this goal that he has, and he hooks up with the older woman, and I just really want to watch the movie now. I looked on Netflix, and it's not on Netflix. And a real reason I want to watch this movie, great soundtrack, just to hear the soundtrack would be enough. But there's a character on here called Cooch, and it is played by the actor that portrayed Jake Ryan in 16 Candles. I was like, oh my goodness, how could I have never seen that movie? So anyway, I'm searching out the movie. I just have to see it. But this is a great, great soundtrack. And another great album that I just recently picked up, this is my last vinyl purchase. So the last piece of vinyl that I purchased was this album right here, Janis Joplin, California, 1962, the early days. And when I read the description of the album, it is from early recordings in San Francisco area, I think San Francisco, San Jose and San Francisco. And it features a young Janis Joplin doing some blues country songs. To be honest, the recording is not the best. So it's mastered from tapes that were made from these sessions that she did, not in a recording studio, but one was done live at a folk theater and the other live at Coffee Gallery in San Francisco. And so, being that the recording, it's not from anything mastered, they're kind of rough, but the album itself is well done. If you are a Janis Joplin fan, kind of just a fan of blues music, this would actually be a good pickup. It's made in Germany. I don't really know about the record label. It's like Jambalaya or something, and limited to 500 copies. And so, like I said, the recordings itself, they're kind of not the best, but if you're like a Janis fan, definitely worth the purchase. So that's my last purchase. And so that's it for me, VC community. That's my intro video. I will hopefully make more videos in the future and show you some music that I really love, some albums I really love. Hopefully you won't think my record collection sucks like poor Steve Carlson. He had that experience where someone thought his record collection sucks. And that would really stink. But anyway, thank you for watching my video. Please comment below. I would love to interact. And just have an awesome day. Thank you. Bye.